Okay, I guess we're live again. So the today's big winner, it seems like QD has been moving up very nicely, and I started a little going back. So watch for the $3 level because that might be something to keep an eye on. It seems like 305, 306 is the top of the day so far, coming down a little bit again. So it's crossing the red line, has crossed the blue one, which is definitely a negative sign, but this might be a point for the shorts to come in. So it hit $3 to 97, so it's even lower and lower and lower. So let's see if it can stay above 296. This is where the green line actually is printed on the screen. Yes, it is. It fell below 296, 295, 294. A little bit of volume is kicking in, but kind of slowed down at this juncture. Okay, so it has stopped. So let's see if this puppy can go above 298, because that will be the crossing of the blue line. Yeah, it's 298. Well, it didn't cross yet, but it has been flirting with that price level. Okay, 298 again. So it's some sort of a selling goes in at 298, which I think this is crucial point, a crucial level, at least for time being, to climb over. Again, still starting at 298. So based on what I see so far, so around 294 was a point where some sort of a buying has came in. As you can see, started bouncing from 296, but that's just a price print, a little bit of a delay. Yep, if you think about 298 as a key point to cross the key level, that is definitely so. So it has been falling at 294. So I think more selling pressure is evident in this case. So it started flirting with 290, 291. Okay, so the 1 minute chart, 289 should be some sort of a support. So far, the 290 held. So that could be a good one. As I said, 294 was definitely a major volume activity, and as it was bouncing from 290, it didn't even touch 294, which in my terms is probably more selling pressure at that point. And as I said, it's started to go lower and lower, crossed 289, which was a support for the red line on the 1 minute chart. So it is more evident that short positions can be very profitable in this case, getting closer to 283, 282, where the next support potentially coming in, and so far it is. So in the meantime, I can give you a suggestion that 290, 286, 287 is the level to watch if you are thinking of maybe an upside potential for this stock. And also throwing you at more and more numbers, 278, where the biggest volume actually came in for this particular stock. Okay, so kind of slow down at 284. Sounds like, yeah, and it seems like it started to going sideways a little bit, waiting for direction, which way the pressure is going to be coming from, whether it's coming from downside to push the stock up or the other way around. We'll see that how this is going to work out. So it's about 10 minutes after open and started slowly moving higher, 285, 287. So it seems like 284 was a little bit of a help for this stock to find its footing. So 287, and if I look at to the upside, it should be okay to go higher above the 292 range. That's where the if I put the cursor where it belongs, to 292, as you can see, is the red line we need to pay attention to. So that's right now it's 289. There was a bit of a activity on 288, which at this point in time it shows that it should go higher, and it is going higher. So right now it was 290, 291. There was a bit of a trading activity, some sort of a volume kicked in. So as long as the current price stays above 290, this should be okay for the bulls. Otherwise, well, it can go down. But you never know at this point in time. Yeah, it seems like 290 was a point where more selling pressure is kicking in. Yeah, it's 285, 286. So make a mark, make a note about 290 as a key level, at least the short term. That might be something you need to pay attention to. And as you recall, 284, 285 was a point where the stock kind of turned around. So it is kind of stuck in that range. Right now it's bouncing between 285 and 286. Yeah, it seems predictable, obviously, but it is building up right now as it started going higher. So this stock is definitely active. So we're talking about QD, over 6.3 million shares exchanged hands. So that's a good one. Definitely got stuck in between under 288. So it's a little bit range bound. So until it goes above 290, being on the safe side, 291, probably if you're not in position or you're not trying to or not thinking adding to it, probably you should be in a waiting mode. Yep, definitely at 288 there was a lot of selling taking place, and right now it is bouncing around 284, 285. So yeah, I think unless it finds some sort of a support at 284, this stock might bound to have more downside than upside. Okay, so let's wait. A lot of activity at 284, 285, and it started going lower. So it seemed like there was a lot of liquidation at 284, 285, and it's more likely that the stock will continue to go lower. Yeah, probably this is about the lower part of the day range. The lowest of the day, I think, was around 280. So we're getting relatively close to that. So again, the blue line is showing some potential support for the machines to start buying. And at this point, it is holding up nicely. Well, until it starts hitting more 283, 282. So more selling. Yeah. Happened to cross 280. Yeah, it seemed as before that the previous turnaround was around 284, went up to 290. A lot of liquidation taking place at 284. And this is the point when it started going lower and lower. And right now it's fell below 280. Yeah, it's more selling coming in. 276. Yeah, it's pretty much, this is where the stock opened initially at 930. So it is expected, and maybe it's not a surprise to have a little bit of a break here and maybe a bit of a bounce, because the latecomers and all the prior orders which were waiting at this level will kick in and will jump in. Yes, we're at 277. Key levels to watch, it's 278. That's where, in the short term at least, some sort of a selling and buying came in. More apparently at this point, it's more selling than buying, obviously. More activity at 275. I don't think it's going to hold. Based on this one, it may or may not hold at this level. No, it doesn't seem like. So it's nice. 272. It is looking like a more selling pressure, and now it actually fell below 270 and more precisely 268, 269, but I think it's actually fell at 265, which was a very low for this stock for the day. In the meantime, the Dow Jones is underperforming so far today. It's down over 100 points. Same goes for TSX, at least in terms of the direction, which is also the downward direction, but it only 15 points lower compared to yesterday's close. And at the same time, Nasdaq is doing well. It's up 0.4%. Going back to QD, it is below 270, which was sort of like expected. Right now, volume is not really picking up, which for me signals that it's trying to actually find the direction, whether it continues to go even lower than it is now or it's trying to go higher. So we'll see. At this point, 265, 266, where at this point buying is coming in, so probably it will go higher. 269, 270. So yeah, some buying came in, but at the same time it seems like, yeah, it's 271. I almost said that it seems like some sort of liquidation is taking place, so probably larger players are trying to actually offload their holdings. So that's why I'm not 100% convinced, but based on what I see, that it may continue to go higher. Kind of get stuck in 270, 271, but so far seems to be more positive for this stock. Now it's actually going 272, 273. I know it sounds like a play-by-play, but that's what actually it is happening. As I actually increase the window size, it is started to go higher at 265, 266, and now it's 272, 273, which was altogether a very nice move to the upside. 274, and definitely pay attention to 275. So 275 and 278 in the short term might be important levels to watch. First, we have to go through 275 if we were playing for the bulls side, and if we were thinking of getting out of the trade. If it goes below 272, 273, that might be a good indication that maybe it is time to liquidate and get out of stock, at least for a short time. Or if you happen to have the option to short, then short this one. So yeah, going sideways for the past few minutes, 273, 274. Let's see. Well, yeah, there was a buy coming at 273. So if it continues higher, and actually 273 was definitely a good point for the entry, but at the same time I think it's going lower. Yes, it is going lower. 271, 270. Yeah, the blue line is above the red line, which is an indication for me that the tide, the trend has changed, and now more selling is the likeliest scenario. By looking at what the chart shows me, 273, 274 was definitely a higher one. Remember I said 275 was a point to watch, where a larger volume were actually happened before. We barely hit the 275. Most of the activities were actually happening at 274 and 273. Those were the volume prints I'm looking for. In the meantime, it seems like the stock has started to going higher, finding some footing at 270. All right, so, and I can see equal distribution of volumes at these prints. So what we need to look, so anything between 270 and 274 is the undecided zone. It's very likely that the stock will actually go sideways in this range. Again, 269 to 274. So if I were to give you a suggestion, I would say that for QD, have an alert above 274 and below 269 to find the direction, but right now it is going sideways. It's very, very much undecided. Same goes for the Dow Jones. It doesn't seem to be going any much higher than it was before. A little more activity at 271. Large volume at 271. Unsure if this was a signal for the bulls or the bears. Yeah, it's one of those cases when you have nothing else to do but wait and wait and wait and wait. Yeah, if it holds above 271, that will be positive, but it seems like more selling is coming in. So I tend to say that it is more likely the stock to go lower at this point in time. There are more indication for that over to going higher. Yeah, it is a lot coming in at 269. 269 is definitely a lower end of the range. Yeah, getting stuck, and getting stuck. In the meantime, Dow Jones is going lower. Surprisingly, Nasdaq is even higher than the last time I reported on the numbers. TSX is lower, but not by a whole lot. And in the meantime, QD is between 269 and 271. Yep. It actually flirting to go lower than 269 because it started to fail below that number, that level. So yeah, I think it's next level you need to watch is probably at the 266, 267. Yeah, and as you can see on the 1 minute chart, 275 was the short-term ceiling for this chart, for the stock. That was the level where larger liquidations were taking place. Even though nice 271, 272. So again, the stock is trying to find the direction, trying to find the trend. Really, really hard at this point. So here's this line. I think we should be watching 271. And this line, this red line is what I was referring to. And if I have to use some not really technical expression, at least not for trading, that is a very, very, very much dancing around that line. So until such time, so let's put an alert for this one. As I said, I want to have an alert for this one at 274 and another one at 268 to see if it breaks out from this range. So let's switch to something else, something more interesting. CLSK, another not a huge stock, and shortly is going to be shown here. It's worth to look at. Yeah, Dow Jones in the meantime actually started getting some strength, and yeah, so QD in the meantime. So let's just go back to QD if I can find it. It managed to go above 274. Awesome. So line you need to watch is definitely the 275, and it is kind of close to that one. Hit the 275. So this is definitely a beautiful bull case scenario. A large volume purchase, most likely purchase, came in at 274. Yeah, it's right here. If it goes above this one, probably I would say it's a key to go above 276. This has a really good chance of going even higher. Dow Jones is dancing around the 90 point to the downside. QD touched 276, and since then it has fell off the cliff kind of deal. Now it's hitting 272, 273. Very, very interesting. And let's talk about some other stock, because there are more stocks are in the play. I think QD is good, but there are other stocks even more interesting. I wanted to mention something called Vuzi, V-U-Z-I. I'm not swearing, I promise. So it started moving very, very neatly in the past few minutes, and that's why you can see this kind of a huge jump. So a lot of activities around 404. Since then it has moved down, and if it happens to find something at around 393, this should be good for this little puppy. Another one is on the chart, is makes sense to mention, and this is called CLSK. It's also not a huge move so far, but between 355 to 373, 375 is not too bad. I mentioned two numbers for you to watch, which is 370 and 372. As long as it stays above these ones, this is a good one to keep. Let's switch to something else, which is LKNCY. Too bad I don't even know more about these stocks other than the obvious symbol. This is right at the today's high, so I would say $5 probably the level I would be watching for this one. Right now it's 495. At 488 there was a lot of buying coming in. At 496 a lot of selling seems to be coming in, so probably, at least for time being, that's a top for this one. And since then, since that I made that statement, it is at 493. Yeah, it seemed like 496 was the top, at least for the time being. If you want to play this one, put an alert at 497 to the upside, and well, I would say 487 to the downside. Moving on to something else, KNDI. No, it seems like a very low volume, but ALT on the other hand looks really nice.